got Chris Braswell, my man. Hey, Chris, bruh, first of all, let me say this before we even get started. Appreciate you taking time out your day to come and be a guest here at the Turnaround Podcast, because you could be anywhere else doing anything else with your time, but you came through to be a guest here at the Turnaround Podcast. I appreciate it, and I'm sure TJ, which is the producer, he appreciates it also. You know what I mean? Because without him and without Matt, it wouldn't be no Turnaround Podcast. So, bro, we appreciate you. And I just want to let you know that I'm grateful for that. Appreciate you.
So, appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah. Our producer, Talia Jasir, his vision and his aspiration is what gave birth to the Turnaround. And Mac, bullshit his own. Like I said, without them two, man, it wouldn't be
possible.
Nah, man, not at all. Huge.
Both talented people.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, humongous shout out, you know what I'm saying, to the producer and engineer of the Turnaround Podcast. Appreciate y'all. And to the Turnaround Podcast, I always like to start off by saying we appreciate the followers, the views, the likes, the shares, the comments. And if you haven't heard of the Turnaround Podcast, then, you know, sit back, relax, just check it out. But all our guests are special. And today, a very special young man stopped by. And if you don't know, then by the end of this session, you should know. We hope you understand. So my man Christopher Braswell came through to show some love to the Turnaround Podcast.
Appreciate y'all.
And bro, so for those who don't know, man, just introduce yourself, bro.
Christopher Braswell, Durham, North Carolina native, born and raised, son of Sandra, son of Michael, grandson of Veronica and Isaiah, God-fearing man, authentic soul through extension. I was raised. Now, I can never fake who I am because my mother never allowed me to. So you know how she is. You know how that goes.
That's right.
Blessed individual at the end of it all.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, man. So for those who don't know, we hoop over here. You understand what I'm saying?
First love, that's the first love.
We basketball junkies over here. So keep in mind that we talking basketball when we talk basketball terminology and some of the talk and slang that go with basketball. You know, and
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, bro. We go back. I'm so 1990s. So I say that to say this, bro. We go back like convertibles.
See, there you go. I was just looking at the coupe. Crazy. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, but to work with you when we worked together for the Nate James basketball camps, and for those of you who don't know who Nate James is, Nate James was a standout basketball player at Duke, and he also was one of Duke's team's captains, and he played his professional career in Europe. And so Nate started his basketball camps, him and Chris Carwell, they started his basketball camps.
Yeah.
And I think then Chris ended up taking a head coaching position and made some other moves. And then Nate did pretty much. Yeah. And so we was at the camps together, man. And I actually was looking at some old, that was just over a decade ago.
Yeah.
So,
almost.
Yeah, real quick, bro. Do you remember those moments, man? The kids.
Almost definitely.
It was so many kids there, right?
Good kids. Kids. They was hungry. They was ambitious.
Yeah.
But, you know, the memories from that, most definitely I remember Barbara, Real, all that. Like, I take away the moments they allowed me to come and help. Fundamental-wise, actually being able to guide kids that wanted to pursue that dream. But also, they knew my hustle at the same time. I was still playing in college.
North Carolina Wesleyan.
Yeah, shout out to North Carolina Wesleyan.
North Carolina Wesleyan.
I got John Thompson, Coach Thomas, that's actually now at Central.
Coach John Thompson.
But Nigel Thomas and John Thompson, I wouldn't be the man I am without them.
Okay.
But the Nate James camp, those memories, they still there. I was able to work out at lunch. They knew what I had to do because I still had the season to prepare for.
I remember,
And then after that, I graduated. I had the overseas stuff to prepare for. But I graduated during COVID, so it was trying times. They still allowed me to control the pace that I was going on. So I appreciate them for that. And that was a good experience on and off that.
Now, you played your high school basketball, Jordan.
Yeah, don't make that face.
The Falcons.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, man, it's love, man. Yeah.
You moved a little bit, but it's cool.
Yeah,
I know you.
Hey, listen.
I know your heart.
We keep it Bull City. So you see the hat, you see the shirt. We keep it Bull City. We from Durham. So North Carolina, what up? You know, What's up, North Carolina? This is your own. We both born and raised in North Carolina. Just,
Sure.
I was born in Edenton. Edenton, what up? He born in Durham, but I'm raised in Durham. So, Durham, what up? This is your own speaking to y'all, man. We ain't coming at y'all with no, let's see, none of that. We finna politic life and bringing up the next generations behind us. That's what the turnaround stands for.
Definitely.
So that's why having someone like you, Chris, is a blessing. Your mind, your spirit, your effort, and your energy. And I definitely want to let you know that I appreciate the person that you are. And I do remember, I remember, because we used to work out together at the camps.
Yeah.
We squeezed the workout scene around camp time, and especially after the camps concluded, we in there getting up shots, get some conditioning in.
Oh, all that.
That's king of the court, challenging each other. You guys was younger than I was, but it's players like you who keep me on my toes. Because once an athlete, always an athlete, bro. We ball players. You played high school basketball, and then you went on. If I ain't mistaken, Wesleyan, that's they won, right?
No, they're D3.
Okay,
But
still, it don't matter. It's college basketball.
No, I don't. But I'll tell you this too. Even with the D1, D2, D3 thing, regardless of if you get to choose to pursue your passion in any way possible, what come with it don't matter. And I remember going to Wesleyan. I had quit basketball 2 weeks before committing there because I had these offers to play out in Cali. And my mother. She's a foundationalist, virtuous woman. So she said, you know what? This your dream, but eventually one day you're going to have to wake up. Yeah. You're not going out to Cali. That's where I wanted to go. Me being 18, stubborn, I'm thinking this is the coach giving me the money to play for free out there. Yeah. You don't want me to go play out here, but you rather me to. D3 doesn't offer athletic scholarships. Mm-hmm. God given, I had the mind to do it, grades and all, they paid for it. But I was able to still pursue that dream because of John Thompson. But in all of that, if you are able to pursue anything that you're passionate about, pursue it. Don't hesitate, because it's not going to feel like work at the end of the day. Right. It's not going to actually feel like an obligation. It's something that you actually blessed to do. Right. That a lot of people not.
I love it.
You love it.
And so,
what come with it is all that.
What come with it is like nourishment. And I know Coach John Thompson. I met him at the Nate James camps.
Durham native, too.
Yeah, word.
Old school Durham native.
Yeah. Resourceful man, too.
Always.
Yeah. And Coach John Thompson, what's up? North Carolina Wesleyan, what up?
He gonna say this, I know.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, man, it's been a little minute. We had exchanged some shirts with each other one time for some gifts, Coach.
Oh, he keep here.
Yeah, so I appreciate
send him stuff every week.
Yeah, I appreciate my North Carolina Wesleyan gear. In the state, proud of you, bro. So man, we're gonna get into a few questions. Just to break the bread a little bit.
Talk to me.
So we're gonna talk some basketball roots and work ethic. Right.
Not without those.
Right.
Work ethic for sure.
That's right. That's right. So the Bull City is the home for both of us.
Yeah.
For you, what was it like growing up in Durham?
For me, you know where we at right now. We stayed up the road from here, off Guest Road, something like Misty Creek. My mother was busting her ass, Pops was busting his ass. So they come from two-parent households.
Okay.
And I'm the baby, so my oldest brother, 5 years older than me, as soon as I hit 2, my mother got us out of the house over here. She was like, if I'm going to give you the dream that you meant to sleep and have, I got to put the effort in to get you there at least. So by doing that, she bust her butt. My father bust his butt. Next thing, we was moving around Durham, and we found a home for us. And then for me, in Durham, it really, I can only speak from my experience.
That's right.
Relatability never had to do with where I stayed. It was about the individual I was.
Okay.
Because if you're going to be yourself in any room, what gravitates towards you is going to be what gravitates towards you. You can't fight the person you are. So if you're going to be a relatable person, first thing you have to do is be relatable where you came from. So Durham for me was more so just it was a gateway to everything. When people outside of here say Durham bad and say all this and that, Durhamites, all that, those people that never lived here. Yeah. They never had any experience here other than what they heard. Yeah. Let alone that they just had a bad experience here. But that's a bad day. Everybody got a bad day. That Durham for me was heaven. Durham for me taught me everything. And I wouldn't be the man I am without it.
Yeah, Durham is my mom moved here when she graduated from college in '78. I was 2. So I got raised here. You know, my birth certificate just said Edenton, but raised in Durham. And it's like what you said, man. Like Durham has made me everything I am today, and Edenton.
Yeah.
You put that mixture together, what's called Edentonian Durhamite. So and
I ain't never heard of that, dude, but I got you. I'm right there with
you. You're looking at them.
Yeah,
Edentonian Durhamite. But yeah, man, Durham is beautiful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Our city is beautiful, but it's like anywhere else. It's got its danger zones, just like anywhere else.
It's everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, everywhere else too. Some areas just be more concentrated than others.
Sure.
But for you, how did it shape your basketball journey, Durham?
Basketball wise, that for me, I was able to play against all types of talent. From my homeboys, Justice Kipcart, Mike Lee, Charles Norman, Kentrell Barkley.
Yeah, shout out to Kentrell Barkley.
Yeah.
Like, see he's tearing it up.
Like Jaleel, we had a lot of talent. And even my brother Jay Watts.
Yeah. Jay Watts, man. What up?
And that him being from Durham too.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 17, maybe 16, Jay came home from Australia. And he came to see me play a pickup game. He said, after I had practice, after I done lifted, and then I'm doing pickup at a gym just up the street. Yeah. After all this, it's 9 o'clock.
Because we hoop.
So he come in, we chop it up. And long story short, for the next, mind you, I already knew Jay. That's 20, I graduated high school 2015. That's 2014, 2013. I'm a junior going into my senior year. That next 10-year span, me and Jay was together every day, 3 workouts, him and his brother John, our brother John, working out 2 to 3 times a day, nonstop, 8 years, 10 years straight.
Yeah.
So I'm 28 now, and that itself, basketball here in Durham,
yeah,
you don't find as many competitive players in any other place, other than I will give Raleigh when it comes to North Carolina, for me personally. Yeah. And I've been to Charlotte. I've been to anywhere you want to name, from Hickory, Hoopers. You want to talk about Chapel Hill. You want to talk about anywhere past that. But
yeah, I look at it like this, being that we from Durham, we from the heart of North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I let that soak in for a little minute. That's no disrespect to nobody. That's just, we're here on the Tobacco Road. Yeah. So from a geographical, factual standpoint, Durham is the heart of North Carolina. Like I said, no disrespect to nobody. And for me, growing up in Durham, it was like we said, it was a gateway. Because back then, we would go from park to park, from neighborhood to go hoop.
But see, that's different. I think I may have grew up in the last generation, social media wise, technology wise, where we had to actually go outside.
Yeah.
Where my mother was like, I don't want to see you inside. Lights come on.
Yeah.
Because she, at the same time, she wanted her space.
Yeah. My
pops go to work. He tried to punish me and my brother. She said, you ain't about to punish me and leave me in the house with these kids. Them boys gonna go outside.
Yeah.
But you get it. That's what you need. And that's something that's missing nowadays. The more you step outside, the more you learn.
Experience.
And I'm a homebody. That's coming from a homebody. The more you step outside, the more you learn, because that experience is gonna teach you lessons. And them lessons are gonna teach you everything you need to know. So that's just how it is.
And playing in Durham, like you said, and then when we get old enough to play in the school system, which is organized.
Yeah.
Anything outside of that is unorganized, and again, no disrespect, it's amateur. And it's no disrespect to nobody. But when you play organized, it's different. Everything is different. That's where most of the best collide and bump heads at, in an organized environment. Who were some of the toughest players you came across in your
high school years?
You played for Jordan, so
I would say competition-wise, Jordan, we were really good. We was ranked second in the state. Third in the state. My senior year, it was Millbrook and Raleigh. They had Chris Clemens that went to the Rockets.
Okay.
Then they had Garner that won the state championship this year.
Garner. Okay.
And they had players that went to the Clippers and overseas. They had Jew as their point guard. Jew Barnes was their point guard.
Okay.
And And it was us. But see, on our team, we had players that played at Ghana, bro. We had me and my boy Mike Lee, Josh Thompson, Mike Spears, Drew Reese, Victor Gray. We had a stat squad. No one was shorter than 6'2". I want to say, other than my boy Josh, but he's 6 feet. But he, the only boy I know 6 feet tall that's going to go get you 40.
Okay.
And anybody. He give it to anybody. Competition-wise, you had KB at Kentrell. You had Justice Kid Carr. You know what I'm saying? Next thing, you go a county over. We can go to Raleigh. But that's our competition. In Durham, we wasn't really worried about anyone.
Yeah. So Kentrell was at Northern at the time.
He was by himself at Northern after Ricky left. Okay. So competition-wise, we had it, but after that, I wouldn't say we was worried about anybody else here. We knew what we had at Jordan. We knew what we had under that roof. So we started up season 20-0.
Yeah.
So we weren't really worried about it. We weren't worried about it.
Yeah, my high school days when we played against Jordan, back then they had Courtney Alexander.
Bad boy. He still hold the scoring record.
Yeah, man. Listen, bro, like I witnessed Courtney just murder our players. You know what I'm saying? Like 40 without even breaking a sweat.
Yeah, he got drafted by the Sixers.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, played with the Hornets for a while. But yeah, man, Courtney was with the Wizards. He was with the Washington Wizards for a while.
Yeah.
Definitely a phenomenal player. And back then, I think he was I feel like he was ahead of his time.
For sure, I heard stories.
Because around that time at 6'5", most coaches would try to put you in the post at the high school level.
You couldn't do that before.
Nah, and he was a 6'5" point guard that could elevate, and that mid-range of his was just pure.
They say that's what's missing from the game today.
His mid-range was pure. Like when he elevated for a shot, it was pure. We couldn't even really contest it, not with the handles But yeah, man. But Jordan, you guys got some rich history too. But our city got rich history, even though Courtney was born in another state. Sure. But our city got rich history, basketball history.
Oh yeah,
you know. I like to put it out there. The first to go was John Lucas.
And it's crazy you mentioned that.
In the 70s.
In the 70s. And John played tennis and basketball. Yeah. But see, what's wild is I was just thinking that because naturally we in Durham. So up the street is Duke. Duke's assistant coach that just left from Miami. His last name is what?
Lucas.
That's his son.
Yeah. So
now you see how everything, they call North Carolina the hoop state. But even starting there with John Lucas, the father, he used to train us and stuff like that. We used to get sent there through my trainer. Then you got John. And you got Rodney.
Right.
And you got Courtney. Yeah. And you got Neat. You got Dominique Sutton. Yeah. And you got Jay.
What up, Dominique?
So
in a little minute, Dominique Sutton.
You got some players that actually contribute to the molding. If you watch basketball, you had to watch it as a kid, though. Yeah. That molded a lot of these dudes. And that's the homage.
Man, huge and major respect goes out. Big number 54 from Wake Forest out of Hillside. Yeah, world know him as Rodney Rogers. We call him T-Tot.
T-Tot.
Tot, we love you, man.
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Tot, great dude. We love you, homie. Jay Watts, what up? Jay Watts, man. I love Jay Watts.
It never changed.
Y'all, you guys, even though y'all are younger than me, I still admire you guys. The drive, the spirit, the balance. You guys are authentic young men.
Sure.
And like I told Jay Watts, man, y'all parents did great jobs raising you guys because it's a lot of dudes y'all age, my age too. Really ain't no age cap, but in the system.
Nah, you ain't lying.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And it starts at a young age. And for me, it started at a young age because I made a lot of bad decisions.
Y'all do, though.
Yeah, but mine's led me to courthouses and jail terms and prison sentences. So when it gets to that point, then there's a problem somewhere. And for men like you guys to avoid those obstacles and those setbacks and those dangers like that, I respect that. And we need more of that. And that's what the turnaround originates from. You know what I mean? We here to steer the next generation from those hardships and those type of mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah, shout out to the parents, man, because our parents, me and Jay talk about that all the time.
Yeah, parents, man.
It's hard because without the foundation of it all, that's saying, say a village, you take a village to raise a child.
Village.
But your foundation, if you got a solid foundation, it's a blessing to have one. If you got a solid foundation, prayer, preparation, and patience to take you there where you need to go.
Yeah.
But you need to know who supports you in this life. But you also need to know who loves you in this life. And that's hard because
that's huge.
We're going to make mistakes, but who's going to be there to hold us accountable?
And allow you to make those mistakes.
And allow you to make them. Because when they allow you to make the mistakes, but they hold you accountable too, that's actually love.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't like accountability. They don't recognize it as love because a lot of people in the moment, they don't want to talk about what they fucked up at.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about the mistake they made. They may just want to get through it themselves. But you know how that is. And
Shout
out to the parents, though. Y'all did a phenomenal job raising Christopher and Braswell and Justin Marcus.
Huge respect, huge love go out. All the parents out there, man, who sacrifice.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a sacrifice.
It's a huge sacrifice. I'm not a parent yet, but I see it. My mom, she raised me and my younger brother, and she did it working 2 jobs. That's strength, man. And that, I said that to say this, man, like Tupac, one of my favorite artists. And him and Nas is like my top 2, everybody else.
Yeah.
And I love a lot of artists out there, man, but Tupac and Nas, Pop, whatever. But Pop once said that Dear Mama was a gift to all mothers around the world. Not just his. Yeah, man. So to all the parents out there, we appreciate y'all and let's keep pushing forward. So, bro.
Let's do
it. Playing at North Carolina Wesleyan under Coach John Thompson. What lessons and experiences still sticks with you today?
That's a great question. First and foremost, and this is the best lesson in layman's terms, and this is exactly how he'll tell you. Little things are big things.
Ooh.
And that in itself depends on, life is about perspective. So it's never about the ball I was bouncing, the basketball I was hooping with. That ball was going to deflate regardless.
Yeah.
But how are you going to contribute to that player, that person as a man? John Thompson allowed me to be myself. Every single day.
Yeah.
And he never told me not to be myself. Of course, we got into it, but I knew, like we just said earlier, without accountability, love, what is really love? So he would teach me, he would tell us all, little things and big things. And what that is, any way that you look at life, regardless of how you start your day, that don't mean that's how you're going to finish it. But if you discipline, you can conquer anything.
Yeah.
So the thing with John Thompson was he allowed me to fully, through extension, be authentic. And I wouldn't be able to be an authentic person if I did not hone on to the aspect of how I start my day. The little things are going to lead to the big things, good or bad.
Yeah.
Good or bad. Let's say I start drinking.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to go somewhere. If I go somewhere, I'm going to start driving. If I start driving, I'm going to start wanting to do other things. I ain't going to want to come home.
Yeah.
But if I do something else, if I'm going to make my 5,000 jumpers a week, and then I got 5 games in the span of, let's say, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, but I got 12 practices in that span, where's my preparation and discipline outside of that? Those little things are going to be the big things that lead to everything I need to handle.
Yeah.
So for that, Coach Thompson, that's my guy. He gave me that, and I take that everywhere. And that's relationships, that's sports, that's family, that's love, everything.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Coach Thompson, man, I can tell he's a great-spirited man. And my high school basketball coach was my best coach just because of some of the reasons you said about Coach John Thompson. They cared about us as people and young men first.
Most definitely.
So that's something that I learned that from my high school coach.
Hold me accountable, boy, I tell you.
Yeah.
It'll be a day go by. If I take 2 rest days, which is not like me, 3 rest days.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you got to get your shots up. I ain't worried about you going to do that. And it was very weird for him to see me take 2 to 3 days off. I am stupid. So he was like, you got to get back out there.
Yeah.
But he know that I ain't have to worry about that with me. Yeah. I was in the gym all the time. I ain't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so with that being said, was there ever a moment in your basketball career where you had to push through doubts and setbacks?
Most definitely. Starting college, I didn't really have any issues high school-wise. My work ethic always determined the outcome.
Okay.
But college-wise, you come in a freshman, you smelling yourself, you know, you're doing your thing. It wasn't like I wasn't. But my whole year, my freshman year, I played a total of 14 minutes. But I know for a fact there was no one in that gym more than me. And it was never about competing, because if we go one-on-one, it's going to be what it's going to be. But that was tough for me. I'm a young man coming in as a freshman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why isn't this working out knowing I'm putting the work in?
Yeah.
But then turn around, you stay with that work ethic. Sophomore year come around until I graduated. I led the year, actually, I led from sophomore year to my senior year. The conference in minutes a game was 40 minutes in the game. I'm playing 38. So that's how fast things turn around. And that was an adjustment for me. But if anything I learned in that moment, if I don't stay true to myself, who will I become? Who will I be? So I just had to keep my head down and stay working. There was no question about it. So that may have been the biggest doubt for me, not being on the court, because I know I put the work in. And then maybe with COVID was tough for people too.
Yeah. My college basketball coach, he motivated me indirectly.
Yeah, most
and because he used to always, in practice sometimes, and I don't know if he was aiming it at me, but he used to always say none of us was good enough to play professionally. And I know the conversations that I had with him, player to coach, and my aspirations, coach, were to play professional basketball. He used to just nod his head like out of concern, genuine concern, and I picked up on it. But I always say too, he didn't put the love of the game in my heart, so he couldn't take that love
take it away from me.
Out. He used to always say that in practice, and I used to take it like personally a little bit, like, and that's what motivated me to just keep working on my game. I stayed in the gym, bro, like at Rockingham Community College. Shout out to Rockingham Community College where I played my college basketball, and those players. Shout out to those guys. But yeah, man, I got in the weight room and I was in the gym. And so, yeah, man, that's definitely relatable.
It's a blessing, man.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, man, it, like I said, he motivated me indirectly. So let's get into a little bit about some mindset and motivation, bro.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's get a little bit into mindset and motivation. The world is changing, and it's changing fast.
Yeah.
Social media, the economy, even how people view success. How do you stay grounded and keep your ambition in check?
I would say, let's say, first and foremost, keep my ambition in check and start with self-reflection. Every morning we wake up, we got to get out that bed and look at ourselves first. There's no one else there unless you're gifted and you're married, relationship-wise. But at the end of the day, even when you win those relationships, you got to look at yourself. Self-reflection for me is my best progression.
Yeah. Me
as a man, if I don't tell myself what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
So even with the world changing, that doesn't mean me as an individual I have to change. I just have to adjust.
Yeah.
Because constantly, every day, it's going to be something different.
Yeah.
But I pray to God about that. That's not in my control.
See.
So, but the way the generation of thing goes is a lot of us tend to see what we want things to be instead of what it is. But we can't fall dormant into that, because if we do, that's not realistic. That's fabricated. That's bullshit. But it's a blessing when we get to the point where we know who we are. But knowing who we are is a tough path.
Yeah.
Because if you're not willing to sit down and internalize everything that you're going through, you'll never know what you've been through. And my homeboy called me, he was venting. He good now though. But it's crazy as it sounds, a lot of people in this generation, all of us want love, but not the work to come with it. And the thing about it is, what we want has nothing to do with what we need. I suffer from that.
Okay.
For me personally, but that's a vice of mine, because I know me as a man, I want what I want, not what I need.
Yeah, it's definitely different between what we want and what we need.
But in the aspects of relationships and all of that, we'll get to that later. But
yeah.
So that's how I feel about the aspect of this generation and what we get into, and how we gotta keep and stay grounded. You gotta start with yourself. Self-reflection will be your best progression, and if you're not willing to internalize everything you're feeling, you're not gonna heal. There's no such thing as it.
Yeah, it definitely starts with the self, and that's where the turnaround springs from. I was at a point in my life, where I had to make decisions, and I couldn't keep being selfish and making mistakes the way I was making that led to charges.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I was hurting my mama. I didn't care that I was hurting myself.
We see other people being affected by your decisions,
right,
bro.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? So
that's different.
Yeah, it made me stop and pivot and turn around. I didn't want to keep taking my mom through nothing like that. So, you know.
Right there with you.
Yeah, man. I always say, man, it's easy to make mistakes and get in trouble with the law. It's super difficult to get out those situations. Let's switch gears real quick.
What's up?
Relationships, love, and community. All right.
All right.
We've both seen how relationships, romance, or friendships have shifted in generations.
Yeah.
What do you think are the biggest challenges people face today in love and connection?
Yeah, that's tough. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about previously, I'm gonna stand on that. Everybody wants love, but not the work that comes with it.
Okay.
And the thing about it is, you could easily go to a person and ask them what they want.
Right.
But none of us can give you a list longer on our wants than what we need. And the thing about relationships is, in order to be in a successful one, and I'm not projecting because I'm only speaking for myself.
Okay.
But in order to be in a successful relationship, you first have to be relatable with yourself, which means you have to go through your healing.
Right.
You have to go through your trauma.
Yeah.
You got to go through your anger. You got to go through your pain. But the thing about it is, a lot of us, we are human, so we hold on to things at times that we don't need to. And the sad part about it is, everything that feel good ain't worth holding on to. And I fall victim to that. But with relationships in this generation, we always gonna see way more because of these phones, computers,
right,
TikTok, Instagram, whatever you want to call it. But we're gonna see more things that we want than actually in practicality of what we need. Mm-hmm. So we force things, and a lot of people, they don't get beneath the surface of their trauma. I can firmly say I fell victim to that.
Okay.
Certain problems come. Am I going to allow whatever's growing beneath the surface, when I see it, am I going to chop the head off of it, or I'm going to get beneath the root and I'm going to dig it up and actually see what's wrong with it? But for me, I had to do that. I had to learn that at a young age at 20. I remember me and my mother had that talk.
Yeah.
But in relationships, you have to be in the right space to be with another individual in this world. And it's tough. It's not going to be easy. But that's the conversations you got to have. And if you don't have that conversation, ain't going to be no progression in that. It gets shady. And people have their expectations. Yeah. People have things they want. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you could give a person every expectation and they could check off every box. But guess what? That's not possible because that's a perfect person. Right. Nowadays, we actually got to learn what a person is capable of. Right. Once you learn what they're capable of, then you'll be able to figure out the love is undeniable. You can pour into them, they can pour into you, but you actually know what this person is willing to do and what they're capable of doing. Whatever their weakness is, maybe you can be their strength. Right. Whatever your weakness is, they can provide the strength for that. But that comes with attuned conversations. That comes with trial and error. Yeah. But that also comes with transparency. And a lot of people, they're not transparent. But when you're not transparent, you don't know the difference between honesty and the truth. And that's a total separate thing. So that's just how I feel about that.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up. So family is a foundation for a lot of people. How has your family influenced the man that you are?
That's funny. Me and my mother were just talking about that. She told me she hated for me out here. Because marriage is the ultimate goal for me. Okay. And it's going to happen. But the thing is, go ahead, it's going to happen. But the thing is, I'm blessed enough to say I come from parents that's been married 36 years. Okay. My mother's side, her parents, my grandparents, they're married 55 plus years, still to this day. My father's parents.
That's greatness.
My father's parents, I had a game at Riverside that night. They've been married to this day, but he passed, my grandfather passed at 17. My grandmother never remarried. He had me under his wing until he passed. Okay. So I've seen them married. Okay. I know both great-grandparents on both sides. I've seen them. Okay. It's scary as it sounds. And to this day, love you, grandma Black. She's 95. Yeah. And just had her first injury. She messed up her hip the other day.
She's 95. She's blessed, man.
Yeah, she's blessed. But, and that's not saying I know exactly what a perfect marriage is, because nothing's perfect. My mother's been it to me. My father's been it to me. I've seen and I've been there. But the thing is, it's hard to see people that want the marriage for status rather than the love that it comes with and the consummation of God that comes with that. Yeah. And Family-wise, like I said, I wouldn't be anywhere without my foundation. It's my village, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That foundation gave me that prayers. Them prayers gave me that patience. That patience gave me the preparation to be the man that I am. So family don't have nothing to do with blood. That's the thing. It's about where you find home at, where you find love at, where you find relatability at. And accountability comes with all that because, like we said, just because a person holds you accountable don't mean they don't love you. That's actually what love is.
Yeah.
But that's the tough thing because most people don't want to hear what they need to hear. They want to hear what they want to hear. So family-wise, mine's held no punches. And that's the man I am today.
Yeah, that's greatness. And greatness comes from great. And I feel like sometimes some people use that word great and not really understand its really true meaning. To be great is to take something, this is just my opinion, and anybody can totally whatever, but to be great is to take something difficult and make it look easy. You said your grandparents had been together like 36 some years, man. That's
my parents 36.
Parents 36.
My grandparents is 55.
Yeah.
And it's longer on my pops' parents' side.
Yeah. That's
great. My grandfather, but it is, man.
That's greatness, man.
It's tough, bro. It's tough out here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of love, a lot of transparency, and a lot of patience, and to be that successful in a relationship with anybody or anything.
That's wrong, because y'all gonna get tired of each other.
Yeah.
y'all gonna naturally get tired of each other, but it's about working through it.
And that go back to what we were saying earlier about coaches who allow you to make your mistakes, but yet they still on your side. And same thing with your spouse. I'm not married either, never been married, but I'm selective, and I've dodged some bullets. I say that, you know. So ambition in the future. As we narrow down a little bit, only because of time sensitivity, because we could chop it up
all day,
like for real, man. But so ambition in the future. If you could sit down and have a conversation with your younger self, what would you tell your younger self?
Don't be so hard on yourself. Because I know me, I'm an overthinker. I know for a fact, and it's not a bad thing. I just don't move unless I need to.
Okay.
But I also know that things are going to happen in life.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn who you are first. And when you do that, don't be afraid of what you're going to become. So I would just tell myself mostly, truthfully, don't overthink. And learn the difference between changing and growing. You're going to go through things that you ain't going to want to change about yourself, but because of your growth, it's going to happen. But embrace it. It's sad to say everything we want in life is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we're afraid of things. Of course, we know what we don't like.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, when we're fearful of something, on the other side is that. It's everything that we want. It's like in love, too. If a person experiences trauma or a similar situation they run into, and that person is giving them the same energy that they felt from something that hurt them, they're not going to act on it. They're going to self-sabotage it. And that's a problem with love, too, nowadays. A lot of people self-sabotage situations that's right for them because they're not in control of their emotions.
I totally can agree with that.
The drive with it all, like telling my younger self, don't overthink things. Life happens. And know the difference between when you're changing and when you're growing, and embrace it.
Yeah. That's humongous, bro. This has been short-lived to be able to sit down with you and listen. We had to get back.
No, we can do it.
We
back.
You know,
I know my schedule been crazy.
Yeah, I got to get Jay Watts. Like I said, shout out to Jay Watts, man. Would love to get Jay Watts back again, man. And Turnaround is fairly new. And we first started it off as just like an audio podcast, but then we switched gears and wanted to get into more of an interview style. Yeah, man. Just having you guys here on a Turnaround, man, is a humongous support and something that's very needed and appreciated, bro.
Yeah.
You know, to have you guys. We ball players over here, man, and we Durham grown over here, man, but the world is bigger than Durham.
Sure.
But if you could share with us, C. Braswell, for the next generation that's coming up behind us, whether they aspire to be athletes, law enforcement, politicians, artists, a painter, a gardener, architect, whatever they set out to be, whatever their heart desires, what would be your message to the next generation coming up behind us? How to conquer their goals and aspirations? What would you share with them?
I would tell them first and foremost, be yourself for yourself and nobody else. Because if you're not, who would you be? And it's hard because they don't know who they'll become. No one can actually be that young and say, this is exactly who I'm going to be. You have dreams, you have aspirations, cool, attack them. But the problem is, too, don't fall in love with everything on your phone. Don't fall in love with everything you see, even on the street.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we on borrowed time.
Right.
So for the younger generation, I would tell them, fully embrace who you are as an individual.
Right.
Be yourself for yourself and nobody else. And when you have tough times, just realize they don't last.
Right.
Because we'll fall into that.
Yep.
We'll think it's forever.
Yep.
But then the fact is, if you can actually speak on your worst pain, trauma, anger, everything that you've been through.
Yeah.
If you're able to talk about it, you're going to survive 100% of your bad days.
Yeah.
Because you're still here. So don't hold on to trauma. Because like we said, everything that feel good ain't worth holding on to. Everything that happened in the past is not the present.
Yeah.
And I would tell them, we are not what we go through.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If we sitting here and you know how when things get good, the devil start testing us. You know what I'm saying? If the devil walked through that house, I know he unwelcome guest. He's a visitor, not a resident. Yeah. I am not what I go through. And I would tell that to the younger generation. You are not everything that you feel right now. You fail, that you meant to get back up, because if you could speak about it, you're going to survive it. So tell them to be themselves and embrace everything that come along that journey.
That's what's up.
And thank and pray, please pray. That's just for me. I can't speak for everybody else. But
that's what's up.
Live in their prayers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, man, that's gigantor. And that's what we need. And that's what we pray for. Again, here at the Turnaround, men like Chris, who mentors in the community. What we set out to do is, again, try to steer the younger generations away from hardships, bad decisions, and you know, it is. And but the thing is, for me, I was never unintelligent. I didn't start practicing intelligence until incarceration.
Yeah,
because it slowed me down, and I ain't had nothing but time in front of me, sitting in prison, and that's when I say when I came home, the decision was made not to take my moms through those type of hardships. So again, to next generations that's coming up behind us, whatever you aspire to be, like the man just said, just follow your heart and be yourself, and stay away from these illusions out here, what he was talking about as far as the social media and the internet. That stuff is a facade. It's what's said back in the days, man. You believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of poison out here in the form of music, in the form of TV. It's a lot of poison information out here, man.
In the form of friendships. It's in the form of everything.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, all shapes, sizes, and forms, man. So just practice intelligence. And I just came off of basketball season. I ain't going to disclose my high school because they don't really do the social media thing like that to protect the kids and everything. So I respect it. Crazy. And I will every now and then throw the kids up there, whatever. I got varsity boys. We just ended our season in February. Yeah, I'm in a private school in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, man, so our goal at the beginning of the season was to at least finish 500, and we did that.
We got to start somewhere.
Yeah, my best player on the team, last game of the season, he was averaging like 24 all season. All I'm going to say is number 3. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he, last game of the season, man, he went bananas and dropped 54.
Word?
Yeah, he dropped 54 last game of the season. I told the team before we came out, I said, listen, this is the last game of the season. I say, whatever you didn't do up until this point in time, today's your day and your opportunity to do that. Go out there and leave it on the floor. I guess he took that literally. He didn't force the issue either.
That's even better.
He just let the floor game. He took his shots.
Yeah.
So
55 off that, you taking the shot you're supposed to take, you good.
Yeah, no doubt. Real quick, bro, what's the latest thing with you and what's new, man?
It is March 2025.
That's right.
That's right. I set for myself. I ain't gonna speak on too much neither, but I will say I have accomplished 2 of my goals already this fall, and it's only and blessed be the Lord, I only had 4 this year.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say I wrote my goals out back in 2015 when I graduated from high school, where I wanted to be now, because I knew myself.
That was a decade ago. That's what's up.
I wanted equity before I'm 30.
Okay.
And I got that.
Okay.
And blessed be the Lord. I'm not going to speak on the other one.
Okay. That's what's up.
It's all about divine timing, and we can't fight it. But if you, like we said, you got to have your prayer, your patience, and preparation. And once you do that, live in your prayers, live on your discernment, and move with it. And I've done that. And it's hard, of course, but everything that I have is everything I plan to get. As weird as it sounds, that's everything. Like,
it was Frederick Douglass who said, "There's no struggle, there's no progress."
Facts. It's not.
So
you ain't gonna get nowhere.
Yeah. So the struggle comes along with it, and I feel like some people today want instant success or gratification, and it's something that takes time.
If you want that, you're gonna put the wrong resource. That's straight materialistic. And
yeah, bro. We time sensitive, man. And yo, Mac, we super appreciate you at Tunes Recording Studio right here in the Bull City. Shout out to Tunes. Yeah, shout out to Mac, CEO at Tunes Recording Studio. Shout out to Talib Jasir, the producer, of the Turnaround Podcast, and Mac, the engineer. Shout out to all our guests. Again, to the followers. Hey, I really have no words to say, how much I appreciate you guys for tuning in and checking in at Turnaround Podcast. Again, the likes, the views, the shares, the follows. Like I said, we laugh, joke, put it in the air sometimes, whatever we decide to do. We're grown at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we're not here to be clowns and advocate violence and that type of stuff. But enjoy life and have your fun. Just be careful. Love on your families. And, bro, is there anything else you want to say or put out there to whoever who's listening?
No, I appreciate y'all for having me. And life go on, but we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing.
Hey, man. Bro, we're going to get back.
Oh, yeah,
We'll do another session. You know what I'm saying? This was just for starters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, one of my goals is to get some equity before I'm 30. I just accomplished it, so I just moved back. Everything good. But I'm not in Durham, so I grew up here. But I ain't far away.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Bull City, what up, man? We love y'all out there. North Carolina, we love y'all out there. What up? Be careful, man. Be safe. Edenton, what up? North Carolina, Wesleyan, Rocky Mount. What's up, man?
Shout out to Wesleyan, man.
Yeah.
University, baby.
Yeah, Reedsville, Rockingham Community College. What's up? We here, man. So, Matt, we appreciate you, bro. We know we time sensitive, man. And everybody, man, just put your seatbelts on, man, and stay tuned, because the Turnaround Podcast, we just getting started. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
That's all love.
Yeah, man.